Hi everyone, I am here at JFocus in Stockholm, Sweden, and I'm sitting here next to Martin, one of our speakers this year. Martin, would you like to introduce yourself and let everyone know who you are and what your interests are here at JFocus?
Yes, I'm a developer with 14 years of experience, roughly. I'm a German expat living in Sweden for the past 16 years. I have been living mostly at the west coast of Sweden, and usually I'm here at JFocus regularly for the past 4 or 5 years.
Oh wow. So I'm with an expert on JFocus. This is good for me to know because I have a lot of questions to ask you now.
Yep,
This
that's
is
good.
my first time at JFocus, and apparently this isn't normally held in May. Right now you can't see it, but in front of me there is a span of windows and beautiful scenes of water and buildings, and it's just gorgeous weather outside. It's spring here in Stockholm right now. But usually this is held in February, right?
Yeah, and this is a very special experience to have it like this, because this is pretty much the most beautiful time visiting Sweden. You know, in February it's cold. It could be -10, -15 degrees.
Oh, wow.
It could be snowy and not very cozy. So this is actually a very nice thing to experience Stockholm now in May and further on.
Very surprising to me, especially when I was packing. I think I packed warmer than I even needed to, actually. It's beautiful out right now. Well, Martin, you had a talk.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about it. Tell our audience how that experience was for you and what you talked about.
Yes, it was a talk about two different things that I combined. I like machine learning. I'm not an expert, I'm just still kind of a rookie, but willing to learn a lot. And then I figured, hey, I have this little hobby project, and then I figured, how can I introduce machine learning into this hobby project so that I can make use of machine learning in a context that I'm really interested in. And that's pretty cool.
This sounds like an excellent talk.
Yes.
I missed it, but for all of you that also missed this talk, because it sounds really incredible, they are available on the JFocus website. Soon after the conference, you should be able to see Martin and be able to learn more about machine language. So I am also not an expert in ML, but what would you suggest for someone interested in this and wanting to get started? What do you think step one would be?
Well, step one would be kind of obviously to look for tutorials, maybe easier tutorials that don't overwhelm with math, because that was my personal experience. I got in touch with a lot of math, and then I was kind of desperate because I noticed, why haven't I listened while I was in school? Because then much of these topics have been covered, but I was not listening actively, so I had to do that all again. So maybe choose a lighter context, a lighter domain, and if possible, maybe choose even a domain that you have value of. So, I mean, as a developer, it's probably not so valuable to analyze X-ray images, because I'm not really working with X-ray images, of course, but maybe more analyzing data about code quality. That could be something, or other texts.
This is, you bring up a good point, and this is one of the reasons I love just being in this industry, is you can get all kinds of experience in different domains.
Yes.
And of course ML across the board is being used everywhere in a lot of different things, many things we aren't even aware of, I'm sure. I'm sure you're probably learning more about that. sometimes that's scary to think
Yeah.
about how much data is being collected on us and how many decisions are being made around us without our knowledge. But very, very interesting topic. Were there other sessions that you were able to attend that you enjoyed?
Yes, there were a couple of sessions related to Java and the latest features and a future prospect on new features that will come. That's always interesting to be alert for new things that we should learn and use later on.
Yeah.
And then there was, of course, a very nice talk about Docker. And also these security-related topics that were pretty useful.
Yeah, that's a very popular subject right now with everything we hear in the media about supply chain issues and stuff. Something I'm heavily involved in myself, working with JFrog and being with a DevOps company. We hear a lot of those concerns with different organizations and different teams.
Yep.
Well, you mentioned, it's nice to get, an idea of what's coming in the future. Do you have any insight into what might be coming for us as far as ML and machine language is concerned?
When it comes to machine learning, I think I will stick to my personal learning plan, so to say. I identified a couple of areas that I would like to focus on in the beginning, and then we will see what happens. Maybe I get even an assignment related to machine learning. You never know. So I will work with a couple of different topics along the way and to try to learn as much as possible, but in a structured way so that the workload compared to my normal job is not getting too heavy.
Right, that makes sense. Balance those
Yes,
priorities.
exactly.
That's always a challenge.
Very important, otherwise you will end up in some kind of hamster wheel, even though it's exciting to learn stuff, but you have to do it on a sustainable pace.
Yes, makes sense. Picking up something, you talked a little bit earlier about doing something within your domain. So that would be my advice too for any language. Start with a project that is usable to you. That's the best way to learn. So you're learning things that you would do in your domain.
Exactly. Then you are kind of you are the product owner, you are the stakeholder, and you see the value of it, and not just following some specification that someone sent to you,
right.
but having and seeing the value of your work. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, feels good. Feels good when you get something to work and you get to see some progress, for sure. So now I've said machine language a couple times now in this interview. It is machine learning.
Yes.
For anyone in the audience who doesn't know what machine learning is, I kind of took for granted that you do. Would you like to explain a little bit just what it is?
Well, there are different definitions of machine learning, of course, and there are a lot of discussions going on in the industry also. Is this really machine learning or not? But the basis is basically you use a lot of data, and the data will steer, so to say, the system's behavior. And this is different as compared to normal control flow structures. Or loops and so on. Here in machine learning, data is the center.
Excellent. Well, again, if you missed Martin's talk on machine learning, please check it out later on the website. Thank you very much for joining us here today. It was really a pleasure to meet you and a pleasure to talk with you.
Yes,
hopefully
thank you.
We will run into each other again. We're in the throes of the second day. We have the rest of today, and I think the keynote is in a couple hours
Yep.
or so, and then a little bit of tomorrow, and then it's all over too quickly.
Yes, but tonight there is a party, right?
There is. We can't forget that. That's
especially
the
for the
important part.
speakers. So
Yes.
I think we will meet again.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
That's
Thank
good.
you, Martin.
Thank you.